Going on, everybody? We are live inside of Bank of America Stadium, and a lot of happy, smiling faces all across the board as the Carolina Panthers reign victorious against the Atlanta Falcons by a score of 25-15. I say this every time we win a football game, Chris. It just feels so refreshing to be a part of an atmosphere where you don't have to hear the whole negativity bit or any of that nonsense. We actually won today.
We
and
did
it felt
win
pretty
today.
good.
We did. We did. And the audience by now will get used to just knowing anytime we're live and the first starts off, my head's going to be down like this because I'm trying to get things together. And Andre's going to hold it down until I'm able to get my head up and say hello. But, yes, it was a great game, man. Did we lead from start to finish?
I believe so. I believe
I didn't think about that.
It was a wire-to-wire performance today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, kudos to Carolina for what they were able to do today in really a matter of like 4 or 5 days. To be able to come back after the performance that they had on Sunday, to believe, to be motivated, and actually put it out there and perform today. Yeah. That was pretty impressive by Carolina.
Good game, good game. It is late, so for those that are watching us live right now near midnight, we're going to go ahead and get into it so you can ask us the questions that you have, and we can tell you some more of our observations from the game as I try to get my computer set up here a little bit at a different angle. But I won't waste your time over that. Let's go ahead and look at some of the stats from hey, you know what? Let's give some shout-outs really quick, you know?
Oh, man.
Because they're up late with us.
Yeah.
It's about midnight.
It is midnight.
Maybe you don't have to work tomorrow. Maybe you do. Hold on. I'm going to change. Put my mic down for a split second because this angle is not – I'm not going to be looking at the camera right.
All right.
There we go. So, Underground West, keep pounding. Appreciate you tuning in. Foreman's a beast. Yes, he is
sure
pretty
is.
good. Anthony Rochelle is up late tonight.
Finally, a win.
Finally, a win. I agree.
Well, then that's more of a reason to stay up at midnight tonight to celebrate the victory that just took place over here.
I'm going to help you out, too.
Yeah, let's do a little electric shuffle, right? But, yeah, just, again, like I said, a refreshing performance, a game that they really needed to have, not only just for their own sanity, but to also just keep track in the NFC South race. I mean, if they lost today,
it's over.
It's practically over. So, I mean, it was a pivotal game that they needed to have, and they were able to pull it out today.
Yep. So, all right, I got my stats ready. In no particular order, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these stats from tonight. Let me get this off the screen here. Thanks, Anthony Rochelle. All right, rushing, which is appropriate because, sorry about, there's a little, it didn't perfectly fit on the screen there. But nevertheless, Deontay Foreman, 31 carries, 130 yards. Wow. I know that has to be the most carries by far that he's had this season. I'm pretty sure.
Or by any running back this season. You think C-Mac had more carries than that?
No, I know he didn't.
Yeah.
I know for sure he didn't because they would be so worried about his snap count. Yep. And Deontay got the 30 carries in there, which is really awesome. But he wasn't the only one. Laviska Shenault Jr. got 2 carries to 42 yards. Raheem Blackshear and Chuba Hubbard. So we had 3 different running backs, 1 wide receiver. And, of course, PJ had a carry in there as well for the Carolina rushing attack. Over 200 yards.
That's quite impressive.
Over 200 yards. So that's great stuff. PJ Walker, Mr. Bounce Back, 10 of 16, just 108 yards rushing. I said rushing.
Passing.
Yes. 6.8 yard average. But here's the key stats here. Even though he did not have any touchdowns, he did not have any interceptions.
That's the big one right there.
That's what we need, no interceptions. So I think his pass rating was 82.3. He was sacked 1 time. Is it fair to say that I think the game plan was a little – I like it, but was it conservative? What would you say the game plan was today?
I can't say it was conservative because there were actually some big plays in our offense today in the passing game. I mean, the one throw that he had to Terrence Marshall in the second half, that was a pretty impressive throw that he had. So, I mean, there was some balance in what they did, but primarily speaking, they really wanted to establish the run game, which they were able to do today.
So let me ask you this. I'm sorry. It is near midnight. I guess that's what happens near midnight when you're on live TV after working all day. But
happens to the best of us,
yeah,
right?
I'm like, blank. All right, so the pass to Terrace Marshall.
Yeah.
That was a lot of yards after the catch, but that was maybe 20 yards down the field.
Yeah.
So as you know, sometimes I'm going to let you guys know we think about this stuff as we're live on air. I don't believe that he threw the ball further than 20 yards down the field. Did he?
Believe so.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I feel like we had like an advanced LA Rams attack here today.
Yeah.
Where we had the running game, which worked better. And instead of just throwing straight screens, we actually threw the ball up to 20 yards down the field. I feel like that was something that could have been said to him, like, hey, we want you to throw the ball. We won't go, don't throw it downfield, but we'll give you a 20-yard limit.
Well, and I feel like they kind of let the leash a little bit loose for him tonight. I mean, there were some moments where, there was a little bit of some conservative play calling, especially in the first half. But I feel like once he got that rhythm, and again, you saw that in that Atlanta game in Atlanta, once he started to get that rhythm and that confidence, I mean, he's a pretty hard guy to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, the confidence is really what you need to see out of him.
Yeah.
And they instilled some of that confidence in him with some of the play calls that they had and some of the plays that they were able to make based off of the calls that they were having.
Yeah, you're right about that because I know they started off with 4 straight rushes.
Right.
4 straight. Not like that's a ton, but you just wouldn't expect 4 straight. And then they let him drop back, and I don't know if he completed that one or not on his first attempt after the 4 straight, but definitely got some more rushing in there as things went on. And if you could, sir, just continue to check those comments to make sure that we're not doing anything back. This is late at night, and I'm telling you, I'm already stumbling over my words. So how do you like this new setup, by the way? We're indoors. We could have went outdoors because it's no longer raining, but I have one glove here. I would have definitely had my fingers falling off. Andre can
I could attest to that
Yeah.
because, it was almost an hour after we went inside the building.
Yeah.
That's when he really started to feel some sensories in his fingers. So, hey, I think it's good that we're in here right now because if you're outside for more than 10 minutes, your hands would probably be as pale as mine
first
right now.
they were numb,
Right.
and then they start to tingle when the feelings come back, and then they tingle a lot and they turn purple.
It's like hitting your funny bone in a sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But nevertheless, we're here, and we had to improvise today. But
Yeah.
we're making it happen, and we're making it happen for all of you who are tuning in right now. Continue to leave those comments. Continue to like and subscribe to this channel because we do this for all of you out there.
Yeah. So now let's go to another category, receiving.
Ooh.
So we just talked about the quarterback.
Right.
How about this? This is kind of funny but cool because I like the guy a lot. You see this stat by Terrace Marshall Jr. here? He had 1 catch for 43 yards and was your leading receiver.
That is insane.
1 catch, 43 yards. Terrace Marshall Jr. was the leading receiver for the Carolina Panthers today with that 1 catch on 2 targets. The other, I feel like he ran a little pissed off too,
Right.
because it wasn't long before that he didn't get any pass attempts or targets in that first half. All of his, even though it was only 2, happened in that second half. The first one, he kind of bobbled. It got hit out of his hands.
Yeah, it was literally the first play in the second half, too.
First play? Okay, and he looked like, from our angle, a fumble from where we were because his back was to us. Replays and television shows he never had possession of the ball. It was
Thankfully.
Right, thankfully.
That could have swung the momentum of the second half right there. Just that one play really could have changed things in favor of Atlanta. But, yeah, he did play angry.
Yeah,
in the second half.
So that pass that he did get, he had plenty. I won't say plenty of times to get taken down. The Falcons had plenty of opportunities to take him down, and he kept spinning, kept pushing, and I don't know what the yards after the catch were, but they were great. So good job there for Terrace Marshall. Let's go ahead and touch on these other guys real quick. DJ Moore, 4 receptions on 6 targets, 29 yards. You see a bunch of other guys here. Something that I want to point out, and we were talking about in the press box, was Shi Smith not getting too many touches until the second half. I like Shi Smith, but I like also what they did in giving Shenault a lot more reps, taking those reps away from Shi and giving them to Shenault.
Yep.
I feel like, which we saw today, Shenault had that touchdown. Now, here's what I'm still going to say, and I'm still going to wish for. Do you want to guess what it may be?
What is it?
Can we please, well, I guess as I'm going to say it, I think about it, I feel like they didn't let PJ throw anybody the ball more than 20 yards down the field. But can we please throw Shenault like a post or just a fly just one time, just a go route? The guy's a good athlete. He's physical for sure, right? He can run over some people. But I feel like you're setting him up to be like, hey, we're only going to throw the ball to you maybe 5 yards down the field. And actually, his touchdown wasn't even a reception because it was thrown backwards. His touchdown was actually a rush. That's how we got to over the 200 yards. But Chenault Jr. definitely doing good today. I like the way that they utilized him.
And that play was eerily similar to the play in New Orleans when he had that touchdown.
Against New Orleans.
Against New Orleans, yeah. But it was a pass. That was considered a pass. But the run after catch ability with Chenault, I mean, it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very, very dangerous. And it adds another aspect to the offense, which if they can use and they can figure out how to utilize him to his potential, they may have a number 2 receiver in him.
You think you're going to go number 2?
It's a possibility.
All right. I like him. You like him more than me. Well,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say more, but you're much higher on him than me. And I thought you were going to say the similarities with that Saints game where he had the touchdown was, it was almost, from our perspective, again, we're on, I don't know how to
Like the
describe
opposite
us.
side.
Like we're on this side of the field, they're on that side of the field. It was the same direction and side of the field as it was for that Saints game where he ran all the way down. All right, let's continue to go through some of these stats. And again, before we go over the stats, your questions, your comments, leave them. Andre and I will be getting to them. And you know what? Subscribe. Right? Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to 6,000 subscribers. Hit the like button if you already have subscribed, and make sure you turn on your bell notification. That way when we go live like we are now, and there's people that are joining us,
Yep.
you get to ask questions. That's 100% why we go live. So let's go ahead and go over this last stat really quickly here. The defense, which we're going to talk about, Frankie Louvu with 12 tackles.
Oh, wow. He had that many.
He had that many.
Wow.
2 tackles for a loss. And, you know, he had 2 sacks
He sure
as well.
did. Yeah,
you
he
know,
had it.
Marquise Haynes had his back-to-back. But Louvu did really good. Shaq Thompson, Xavier Woods. But I'm just going to skip down to Derek Brown, who continues to play incredibly well. 6 tackles, 2 of them were for losses. And then Marquise Haynes. What a way to be efficient, right? If they had efficiency ratings for players on the defense, he'd be off the charts. Three tackles, 2 of them were sacks.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
And the thing is, Chris, I talked about it when we were in the press box. I called him out.
You did.
Pre-game show. I said a call to action. I don't want to say call out. I'm going to say call to action. I feel like that's more.
He said, get your butt in gear. We need to see it.
And he did. 2 sacks, I believe, on back-to-back plays,
Yeah, they
too,
were.
in the fourth quarter. Really showing up when they needed him the most, and really when they needed plays to be made so they can get the offense back on the field, because that could have been a chance for Atlanta to tie the game.
Yeah.
And they were able to sack Mariota, and really they were able to get after him the entire game, which was really key in, you know, their ability to, you know, force turnovers and really do some uncharacteristic things for them today.
It was nice. It was nice. So that's all of that. Let's
take a look at these comments.
We'll take a look at these comments. Let's see where I'll continue to go where I left off. Our wins are all against Anthony Logan. Stole what you said to me before the end of the game. Yes, all of our wins are against divisional opponents.
Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and now Atlanta, and then New Orleans as well. So I guess we should just keep playing our divisional opponents. I mean, we'll rack up some of these wins. Of course, we do play. Who do we play next?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know the whole schedule off the top of my head, but I know we play
Baltimore.
Baltimore next on the road. Then we come back and play Denver
Yep.
at home. So it's at least 2 games before we get another divisional matchup to compete. And Baltimore is a tough team with Lamar.
Yep. They just beat
Doing
New
his
Orleans.
things. Yeah. And the Denver Broncos, I think they're
They're
kind
a
of
little
up and down,
uneven.
right? With Russell Wilson,
Right.
previous Seahawks. And we play the Seahawks at some point later this.
We sure do.
December the 11th, I believe that date
after
is.
our bye week.
Yeah, December 11th is when we play Seattle. But yes, Anthony, that is correct. All of our wins are against division people. We need to throw the ball down the field. But other than that, great game. Keep pounding, says Chance Hines. That is correct. We just talked about that, not throwing the ball down the field. And let's talk about that for a second. Wilkes, where do you think that's coming from? Do you feel like he's been given some orders in terms of how to do that? Because if you look back at that LA Rams game, it's like, to me, it's incredible that you have a professional NFL level quarterback and you're going to do like Pee Wee Pop Warner
Right.
style and say, we're not even going to throw like a Pee Wee game. They'll throw the ball down the field further than they did that Rams game, right? Today, very similar playing to that Rams game, but they said maybe 20. Where do you think that's coming from? You think it's coming from the coach?
Well, here's the thing. Like, when they played Cincinnati, he only had 9 total yards passing in the first half. So this has been something that's been happening over the course of a period of time. And I don't know if it's a lack of confidence in P.J. Walker or if they're just so dependent on wanting to run the football, because he has said that on numerous occasions. Part of the game plan is controlling the line of scrimmage and making our offense be physical in terms of just running the ball and running it right up the gut. So I think it's a little bit of both, a lack of confidence in the quarterback, but also trying to get through what they want to do with their game plan by running the ball, and then it will open up the pass game. But at some point, you have to let the guy cook, because when he has that opportunity to throw the ball down the field, and we have seen it before, just look at that Hail Mary that he had with DJ Moore.
Yeah.
He can sling that thing, and you have to instill some confidence in him. And I think that will add another dynamic to the offense if we can do that.
Okay. We need to throw the ball down the field. Other than that, all right, thanks, Chance, for that comment there. Anthony Rochelle says he's a pretty happy guy.
I think we all are right
Jamal
now. Right?
Fikes, we got the win. Yes, we did.
Got the job done today, thankfully.
We need for Tampa to lose to Seattle Underground West. He's already thinking about the playoff picture. So at this point, again, I talked about it in pregame. The bigger thing really is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
Right? That's the bigger thing, because they're in first place. They still have their 4 wins. And if they win, then they're still 2 games ahead of the Carolina Panthers. We're no longer just win 1 game and tied, or no longer just win 1 game and we're 1 game out of that position. So we're still, right now, probably technically 1.5 games, I think is what they would consider, because Tampa has not played yet. Once they play this weekend, you need Tampa to lose. But
we are still
which
last.
is what you're saying. We need Tampa to lose to Seattle. Sorry about that. I didn't, again, any mistakes, just because it's right now 12:17 a.m. as we're filming this video.
So bear with us.
But yes, we do need
toughing it
Tampa
out.
to lose. And at that point,
Now, are they playing in Seattle? That's the question.
Tampa this week?
Yeah, are they playing in Seattle?
I'll let you look
it
that up as I continue to bring up some
Yeah.
more of these comments here. Derek Brown,
Oh, wait, hold
what
up.
a night for him. Let me put this on here. I didn't put it on here. Derek Brown did have a great night. Great night.
He sure
That guy can get after the ball, man. He got some wills. He might not, I don't know if he can keep it up too long, but he got some wills
For
to get after
somebody his size,
Yeah.
too. That's like the most impressive thing about it. You know, you don't have to do it over the course of an entire game, but he somehow does.
Yeah.
That's the insane thing about it, too. He's making that leap that everybody thought he could, and then some. So, I mean, the only thing that I could really have a gripe against him is the sack numbers. But otherwise than that, I mean, he does everything else that doesn't, get tallied up into statistical categories.
Yeah.
He still does it. I mean, he's just an all-around player, and, for somebody who was drafted so high, he's exceeding those expectations that they put out for him in his rookie year.
Yeah, and then a couple of his tackles were tackles for losses. So he didn't get your sacks, but he is getting behind the line of
He
scrimmage
does
to
the
get
dirty
them.
work.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes
He's
down
getting
to.
behind the line of scrimmage.
Right, and they are playing in Germany. They are not.
I thought so.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
is
so.
The
The first
9:30
game. This is the first game in Germany, right?
ever, I believe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I thought we would have a chance. The Panthers are playing that game in Germany because they had this licensing thing, in which I don't know how many NFL teams there were. I'd say maybe a half dozen.
Yeah.
I think it might have been. And the Carolina Panthers were one of those teams that were awarded that. And so you're like, hey, maybe Tampa and Carolina and Germany. I was ready to go.
Hey, maybe you'll see us in Germany in a couple of years.
I
You
went to
never
London a couple
know,
of years
man.
ago, so I was ready to say, hey,
Right.
Wife, kids.
Hold down the fort for a little bit.
No,
I'll be
I got to
back.
take them. I got to take them, man. I have to take them. Yeah, but anyway, let's continue to make sure we get this thing rolling.
Right.
The rain affected the play calling as well, Underground West. I feel like it could have, but here's the thing, right? These are pros, right? These aren't rookies. These aren't high schools where they can only have one game plan. I feel like they would know If it rains bad, we got this way that we want to go.
Yep.
If it's kind of light, then we'll go with this plan. But Wilkes did say in his post-game press conference that he wanted to run the ball. We were succeeding at running the ball.
Oh, yes.
And he knows from being a defensive coach how that just really wears down on a team, and he wanted to keep doing that. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna jump ahead of myself here and bring up this question to you. Did Steve Wilkes just put himself back into that head coaching conversation for the Carolina Panthers?
I think he did.
Okay.
I think he did. You know, we talked a lot about the resiliency thing when we were in Atlanta. They had a horrible performance on Sunday. The fact that he was able to motivate those guys and to get them ready on such a short week by first naming P.J. Walker to starter on Monday and saying, hey, he's our starter. We're not talking about this no more. We're moving forward. Got a game plan ready. Got those guys ready to go. And to be able to play the way that they did, taking the soul out of Atlanta by being able to run the ball the way that they did,
right?
That's impressive. And I think you didn't see a performance out of that out of a coach rule team. You just didn't in the 2.5 years that he was here.
Yeah.
So I think already in 4 games he has done more impactful things for this team than Coach Rule did in 2.5 years. And that says a lot about Steve Wilkes.
Let me further ask you this. If I didn't cut you off, did I?
No, you're good.
Okay, so does this further cement the fact or the possibility of I don't know what I'm trying to say. My opinion that game in Cincinnati was really a hangover. Is not so much indicative of the coach, but just the hangover from a gut punching loss that you had against Atlanta, considering that I felt like it was a gut punching loss, and it just took so much steam out of a team that had just lost their coach, lost some other significant players, and maybe felt like, oh, this is it now, we're gonna suck again, like, oh, this is so tough, and like they couldn't pick themselves up, and Cincinnati just trampled over him. Now he had a chance to say, hey guys, it's not over. It's not over. That was just one time, all right? That was just one time. Get it out your – well, I'm not even going to talk about it. And get them up for this game today. I want you to go ahead and respond to that after just say one more thing, which was I did not expect the Carolina Panthers to win today.
Same here.
I really wanted them to win. Let's be clear. But just professionally speaking, analyzing the game, analyzing all the injuries that we were having to this team, and knowing that Atlanta's a pretty decent team, right? I didn't feel like we would be able to pick ourselves up that much after the Cincinnati loss that quickly for a rainy Thursday night game.
That's another reason why you should be unmotivated to play this game. Oh, man, you got to play at home. It's cold, wet. The weather's not going to be good. Yeah, you can make all these excuses all you want, but you know that they're thinking that. That has to be, like, in their head. But, yeah, that Atlanta game when they played a couple weeks ago, it took a lot out of them. I mean, because you had so many opportunities to win that game. Missed field goals, missed extra points. Could have had a pick six. I mean, there were so many ifs and, what could have been. That mentally it's like you have no more gas left in the tank. So, I mean, it was kind of understandable that they kind of had the performance that they did Sunday, although it was still pretty bad. But, again, to be able to come back, move forward, reset, and just have that short-term memory, it starts at the top. And Steve Wilkes has been really firm about saying, hey, we're here. There's still a bunch of time left in this season. We just got to get our act together and take it one step at a time, one day at a time. And that's what they did today.
P.J. Walker. Did he earn himself the ability to start again next week? I'll let you think on that while I say, please continue to play P.J. Walker. That's my plea. Please, and the reason that I plead, please continue to play P.J. Walker. I'm so proud of myself for not stumbling on
Right?
all those P's.
All the alliteration there. You got to have that applause sound effect there.
Where's
if
it
you
at?
have
Where's it
ready.
at? Here we go.
'Cause, man, oh, man.
I made it this late at night. And the reason that I'm not saying that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I'm just saying if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't give these guys another reason to be like, oh, this guy's in, now this guy's out. Give them some continuity to continue to build on. DJ Moore didn't have a great game statistically, and I believe none of the guys had the chance to because of how the game plan was so restricting on that passing game. But he's been your starter for
four. It's going to be 5, I feel like, next week.
L.A., Saints.
Tampa.
I don't want to remember them all, but 4 games.
4 games.
And he's 2-2. Really, I'm not a big guy saying shoulda, woulda, but 3-1. And I guess, the coach could be thinking they have this kind of semi-bye week.
Yeah.
So that gives you time to get the other quarterbacks maybe up to speed, but no. Tomorrow's just going to be watch film day. Saturday and Sunday is going to be, hey, you guys deserve it. Take a break because we haven't had a bye week.
Right.
So you really don't get that extra time with that quarterback. Please leave your comments below. Who do you think should be your starting quarterback next week versus the Baltimore Ravens?
I think it's going to be PJ. Just simply put, just piggybacking off of what you said, continuity. I think that's the number one thing that you have to consider moving forward. You don't want to have this circus. It's been a circus at that position for really the past 3 years. You want some consistency.
It would be a circus, yeah.
Right? And you want to know coming in every week that this is going to be the guy throwing you the football or handing the ball off to you. And I think, while he's been very pedestrian, I think there's still potential with him to have some of these explosive games that I know he's capable of doing. It's just a matter of the game plan and just letting him be. And part of letting him be is making sure that you give him that opportunity to do that, but also don't give him too much leeway to where he turns the ball over, which he has a tendency to do. So ultimately speaking, I think with this victory and winning solves a lot of problems. I think moving forward, the quarterback position will be in P.J. Walker's hands until something catastrophic happens, I feel like.
I feel like the times that he's been pedestrian has been because that was the game plan. I don't feel like he himself has been. L.A., game plan, for sure. For sure.
100%.
He was pissed off after that. Like, I didn't throw the ball. Today, they gave him a little bit more than the Pee Wee League kind of opportunities, and he responded, no interceptions, which is what you want. And the Cincinnati game was bad, but I feel like the interceptions that he got was because the guy was down 21, 28, 35 points.
He was just taking chances at that point.
So, yeah, he had some bad throws tonight, though, that were like, but again, no clown show. All right, so here's what we got to do. I'm going to check the camera, but I think we only got like 15 minutes left.
Okay.
That we can be on air. So I'm going to check and make sure. And, yeah, we got about 14 minutes. So let's zoom through all these comments really quickly here so that I love you guys. I appreciate you all.
We both love you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you for staying up with us because y'all could be sleeping right now. Y'all could be getting some Z's, getting ready for work tomorrow, but you are here with us. And, hey, I think we're doing a pretty good job of entertaining the crowd out there, right?
All right. Yeah, so let's zoom through these, all right?
Yeah.
Bryce Jones, it's time for Eddie to go bring in. All right, so Eddie did miss an extra point tonight.
He did. But so did Young Wei Koo.
But how about the Falcons kicker who missed all of his extra points?
I believe so, yeah.
I
I know
know.
he missed 2.
Yeah.
2.
All of his extra points. And
One
all
of them
made a
could have
field
made
goal.
it a 6-point game.
Yes.
And if they had the opportunity to get the ball back, they could have won the game with a touchdown.
Anthony Logan, Chris with the Michael Jackson one glove. I would do a Michael Jackson move, but it's late and I got computers in front of me. But hey, call it what you want. I appreciate that over
Now you ain't gonna do the
anything else.
moonwalk.
I can't. I like the idea though.
Not
I
at
like
this
the
time
idea.
of the day, right?
Chance Hines letting us know they play in Germany. Yep,
Yep.
they play in Germany. All right, Carolina. Baker Mayfield, really appreciate the information that
Whoa.
Okay,
What's going on over here?
okay. Don't
Naming
know
all the
what
credit unions
that's
here.
about. My credit's pretty good right now, by the way. I missed it. Why wasn't Chen in this game? So Jeremy Chen is still on IR. He was just this week designated to return, so he was technically eligible to be active, but they have not activated him yet. He has 21 days to be active. Pretty safe to say that by the next game, Baltimore Ravens, it's very likely that Jeremy Chen could be active at that time.
The sooner the better, but at the same time, with a caliber player like he is, you don't want to rush him too quick.
Yeah.
You want him out there for extended periods of time.
Chance Hines, earlier we were talking about the Cincinnati game and the coaching. He said, I totally agree with you about the Cincinnati game. We didn't show up. Yeah, they were just hurting, man.
It was just an ugly game to watch, too.
Anthony Logan definitely should be PJ at quarterback right now. He has earned the nod. I think so. So let's go through some other things, Andre, that I had on my notes to talk about today, if I can get through it. Anybody wants to pick us up on a corner of Mint and Moorhead and drive us to our car, I appreciate it.
Sounds like it's pouring outside. I don't know if you hear that.
That's just the AC,
Okay,
I believe.
I hope so. Because
Can you give us the injuries? Did you have that list in front of
so let me just do it off the top of my head.
Okay.
And then we'll see. We'll go from there after that, right?
Injuries coming out.
So Dante Jackson, Achilles injury. We don't
Okay.
know the severity of it, but it did not look too good.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Matt Ioannidis carted off the field towards the end of the game. Don't know.
Calf,
It was a calf injury.
I believe.
Okay.
Don't
so-
say it like that, like a calf just took him out. Did you see that? If you saw Andre like calf, big old Ioannidis, are you serious? Pinky toe?
That was not intentional. I promise.
Hey, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
Freudian slip, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, so there was that one. And then Giovanni Ricci twice got injured for a neck injury, I believe.
Yep.
And then DJ Moore was out for a good bit of time before he got back into the game, dealing with a head injury. He was I believe he was evaluated for a concussion. If I'm not
He was,
mistaken.
yeah, head
But he
injury.
was able to come back into the game. So a little banged up. We'll see, again, the severity of these injuries. I know Dante's looks a little severe. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully he can stay healthy. But, of course, that's been kind of a nagging thing with him over the course of the season.
Yeah, so it's kind of standard, but Coach said he's going to get an MRI.
Yeah.
And so it's a chance, we'll get a chance to talk with Coach tomorrow. All season long since he's been head coach, he doesn't give much of us injury update the next day. He deflects it onto the next day, which is usually at that point a Monday to a Wednesday. Now, if he deflects, he gets until
Probably next Wednesday.
Yeah, next week, yeah. I think technically he could say it's Monday. I don't have to give you an injury report. So we'll continue to bring you updates on that. We're going to close talking about this. I did some calculations since we don't have, the truck and the people to help give us some stats. One day, Andre and I will have a team that sets up our cameras, that gives us the stats that we need.
And we could be live instantaneously. We don't have to wait 20 minutes to get everything all situated, right?
But until then, you'll hear me brag about the fact that I multitask.
Right.
Task it, is that a word?
Multitasking.
Yes, and got some updates. So we had a lot of penalties today.
We sure did.
We had a lot, and let me see if I can quickly get my screens together to tell you what those penalties were. We had 10 penalties for 89 yards. The Falcons had 4 for 37. I like their number a lot better, but we had 10 for 89 yards. And who got the most of those? In case you don't know. Do you know? It's fine.
I'm gonna make a guess.
Okay.
Was it Icky?
Icky, you're right. Icky had most of those. He had 3. And my notes, come on, don't fail me. 2 of those were false starts.
Yeah, and then a hold.
And then 1 was a holding.
Yeah.
So Icky's been doing well. Still, outside of those penalties, is playing well. But he had 3 penalties. We did seem to have penalties jumping up a lot on these guys. And I don't know, him being a rookie, being his first primetime game.
Yeah.
Kind of at home, if things can kind of get too too hyped for him or something
get
like
amped
that.
up and
Yeah,
excited, and then sometimes you just get a little jittery, and then you have moments like that.
doing some things wrong. You wonder who was second?
Brady Christensen?
He did have one. I don't think he had multiple.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but Xavier Woods.
Oh.
Xavier
okay.
Woods had 2 big penalties. Not that Icky's were small, but Xavier's penalties were 15-yard penalties. So he had but they were close calls too, though. It was the
one in the first half.
one kind of going across the middle. I mean, they were going the same direction, but they were in the middle of the field when he kind of bumped the guy. It looked like he was really leading with the shoulder and the head's kind of touched. It didn't seem like, hey, I'm leading with the head. And then the one after the touchdown is another one that was like, yeah, you could call it, but, I'll take those calls where we still win over the DJ Moore, take off his helmet, and Eddie Pinheiro misses. And I know I said the last one was going to be about the penalties. Let me check. I think I might have another few minutes to get this through here. I have 4 at the most. So Steve Wilkes' press conference. I was going to do an imitation. Well, I want to talk about Eddie, outstanding guy. I don't know his exact words, but he just made a point to himself, give props to Eddie Pinheiro.
I think it's fair.
Man, I think it's 1,000% coach talk to, try to get your guy up because you don't want to get another guy.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't feel like there's other guys out there on the waiver wire to pick up at this point in the season. So you're like, Eddie, it was just a great job you did out there tonight with those guys. You just kicked it right through the uprights. Nobody had any concerns at all. He was like, I wasn't worried. Everybody knows because the crowd was cheering so loudly after this guy made his kicks. He did
the
miss
last
one.
kick that he had. I was just about to say.
So that's all that I have time for. I'll let you go ahead and wrap it up and say anything that I may not have included. We got maybe 2 minutes at the most.
Yeah, so great win today. Let me just recap just what is going through my head right now. The very few things that are going through my head as we approach the 1 o'clock hour here on a Friday. But ultimately speaking, what's the main thing that Coach Wilkes talks about?
I'm going to step
week?
out so you can have it and let you know the ending.
It's controlling the line of scrimmage. He says that every week. That is the game plan every week. Anytime that you have an opportunity to speak with him in a press conference, that is literally the first thing that he says. And they were able to do that today. Running the ball on offense, controlling Atlanta's rushing attack. They did a really good job, even with Cordell Patterson back in the lineup. The first time we faced them all season, we were able to contain their run game today. So I think, that's really a key and many keys to success for this team moving forward. If they can control the run game and they can control what they do on that side of the ball, we're going to be winning some of these football games. And it's an easy recipe for success as long as they're able to dominate the line of scrimmage. And I think for what happened today, that's a recipe moving forward. So with that, we're going to call it quits for today's post-game show. It was a great game. Great to see all of you out there. And until next time, thank you for all the support.